Why do so many people come to Photomat? Because they just wouldn't trust their pictures to anyone else. You see, pictures are all we make. That's why they come out clear, sharp, and colorful. And that's why you're going to love Photomat. Photomat, it's gotta be right. It's Photomat.
Yes, the good old days of waiting a week to get back. I don't miss it. So, welcome everybody. This is the Wednesday Night Mouse Party. I am DM Foss. Joining me tonight is Baron. How's it going, Baron?
Going pretty good. Just got off the win for the Star Wars quiz on G-Web's Tactical Quiz. That was pretty fun.
Yeah, you beat me by one question.
1 point. Yep.
Yeah. G-Webs, how are you doing tonight?
Good. Thanks for the invite. Thanks everybody for showing up for the quiz. May the 4th be with you.
How are you doing, DJ?
I'm looking good and I'm feeling fine, Foss. How are you tonight?
I'm doing all right. I forgot to do something here, so I will. Nope, that's not what I want. Hang on. Stay on target.
Nice reference.
It's got to be one of my favorite Star Wars
Me too.
guys. That guy blowing up.
What are we talking about? The trench in the first movie?
Yep.
Which
leader was he? Was he Gold Leader? I can't remember. Or the character's name.
I got no idea.
I'm not sure.
That's a good question, though.
So let me call up.
Red 5?
Yeah. Where are we going here? We did a poll and I'm trying to do. Yeah, let's try this again. So, poll for this week. There we go. And I think I want that one right there and that one right there. There we go. Was better sci-fi show, Star Wars, Star Trek, or I like them both. I go both ways. 40% for Star Wars, 24% for Star Trek, and 36% go both ways.
I can understand both, but if you got to pick one, there's more Star Wars and it's in more realms. Like it in Star Trek was always for adults also, so it's just only some kids are going to like Star Trek, where everybody likes Star Wars.
I like them both equally, and
I wonder.
But I read it as like if you got to pick.
Yeah. You were saying something, Baron?
Aren't there more Star Trek movies than Star Wars?
Do you believe?
Well, there's 9 plus a couple more. So that many Star Treks?
Well, which ones are we counting as 9? Are we talking about like we're talking
Well, if
about
you-
theatrical release films, right?
If you add in the original Star Trek movies and then the Kelvin timeline, yeah,
Barely 5. Or how many old ones are there? 4, 5?
7,
There's 7 old Star Treks?
yeah,
And then
Isn't
the
there?
next gen
Right.
ones.
yeah, the next gen and then the Kelvin timeline.
So
So
there's like 14 or 15 Star Trek movies.
Yeah, bang.
I think
You
the
got
same way was that
all-
was on Foss's channel, YouTube channel, on his community tab.
Then you got all the TV shows. And they're still running them. What
Well,
do they
Star
got?
Trek wins TV shows for sure, but Star Wars wins cartoons on TV shows.
Yep.
yeah,
I can only think
Uh,
of the one that was like 70s, where it was a
Mhm.
cartoon of the original series characters. That was lousy. Oh my god, that was
the
lousy.
Star Trek,
Yes.
yeah.
Well, what's the deal? Star Trek licensed to anything that would take them, or anybody that asked? I watched a show about toys before, and they mentioned it. And I might have even watched a whole thing about Star Trek toys specifically. And there was a while there where they were like, "Oh yeah, sure, put Star Trek on there."
Let's go. That was out of 45 votes. We'll take a look at the comments. We'll go newest first. So, G Webs, yours was the newest comment. Toys, movie, cartoon, Star Wars wins this. Rich White said had to go with Star Trek because Star Wars wasn't a show, not counting cartoons until after they killed Han. Star Wars died then. If you had the movies, I would have went with both. With that the original Star Wars and maybe Revenge of the Sith, I voted for. And yeah, I should have worded it a little bit different, not use show, but I was thinking just the worlds.
Yeah, universe
Trek
or
universe.
something. Yeah.
But these are just kind of for fun polls, so you can take it how you want.
With like the Death Star and lightsabers and the Force, and then like transporters and replicators and tricorders and communicators, like both of them are in the culture and literally have made real life stuff because somebody was like, I need to make something like the movie or whatever, both of them have a massive influence in the world. Both of them have things named like real spacecraft named after them, or just Star Trek?
I think the only ones that come to mind would be Star Trek.
Star Trek has multiple things. So, as far as being like actual influence into real science, I think Star Trek might have a lean on that one.
Caucasian Sasquatch said better than either, and then listed a bunch of other sci-fi shows. LW, are we comparing all Star Treks to all Star Wars because Deep Space Nine was horrible, and so are the new Star Wars series? I really like Deep Space Nine, personally. I know
my
there's
favorite of the next generation era. That was my favorite series.
See, I can't even watch it. I hate it too. I don't know if it's polarizing or what, but or maybe it's just I don't like any of the actors in it or something. But I never liked that show.
Well, I've heard that from other people too, so I wasn't surprised. But I did like it. It was supposed to be they're more gritty because people said that everything was too clean, too nice. So that the response was Deep Space Nine, where it's definitely a different mood.
Oh wait, hold on. Deep Space Nine is the space station, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what.
If you're talking Voyager, no, the Voyager sucked.
No, I liked Voyager, okay, but it was only okay.
There's a couple characters I liked, and the rest of it I didn't. I liked Chakotay, who I've heard a lot of criticism on his character, but I liked him. Faithful sidekick. And then Ensign Kim and the other dude that he always hung out with, they had good chemistry. Couldn't stand 7 and 9. Janeway was annoying. And then there's just basically a bunch of other people on the ship. And these, of course, are my opinions, and not necessarily of anyone else on them. Mike never really cared for either one. TPC Cook said 2 different eras, one TV, one cinema. The first 3 Star Wars movies were very creative, and they started getting getting weak and finally woke. Star Trek was just hippie sci-fi cool. Charger said neither. He liked Stargate, SG-1, followed by Atlantis. And then Sasquatch and him go back and forth saying yes, they agree. Thank you to everyone who participated in the poll and left comments. If you have not done either of those, you still can, because the poll will stay up here as long as YouTube allows it to be up there. Let me go back over chair. And guns. Hold on just a second. Do I still have it on here? Is it still on here?
And now, making his way to the ring, weighing in at 245 pounds, standing an astonishing 5 feet 10 inches tall, the reigning U.S. middleweight late night firearms champion, Guns and Barbecue.
Woo! I'm too higher than Mortato.
How's it going, Guns and Barbecue?
It's going all right, Senor Boss. Let me tell you, I've been waiting for a really long time for this. I've been mounting a scope on my new rifle. Actually, it's not a new rifle. It's a rifle I've had for a while and I've never gotten to shoot, but it's new to me then because I still haven't gotten to shoot it. This is a great time. Thanks for the invite.
Oh, you're welcome. All right. Oh, let me make sure I take care of the rest of the housekeeping things. Poll question. In the description, there's a link to the overnight Discord, place to hang out, chit chat, have fun. I think that's pretty much it. Anything else that I'm forgetting?
Yeah, make sure to like and comment. If you're watching after we are off air, go ahead and leave a comment.
Ah, yes.
Nice.
If you watch this in replay, we can still keep the conversation going. And I read the comments and usually respond to them unless it's something that's, that we're not responding. I don't know.
I do try to respond to insults, just so you know.
I might not. Usually I thumb them up just because
That's my job.
It makes me laugh. But yeah, so if you watch this in replay, go ahead and leave a comment. I'd appreciate it. But
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it now.
And we got the banner.
Oh, thank you. Somebody's on the ball. So there's the email if you have comments, suggestions, or Gorn. Send them to untacticalfoss@gmail.com. We'll take a look at them. So let's see who was out there in the side chat. DJ Play Nice, he's out there in here and everywhere. Pink Panther. Michael Dunn. Good evening, good evening. And that's everybody who's commented so far. So if you're out there, comment, leave a comment, say hello. Let us know you're out there.
And if people are watching this after we are off air, the reason I'm dressed up like what would you call this? Is he's some type of alien, right? Being Nub. It's May the 4th, Star Wars Day.
Yep, and just for Pink, I think Pink was the one. This is my lightsaber.
Oh, that's so freaking sweet.
Mine is blue, but I can. There we go. But I can change out. I've got green and I've got red, but I like blue, consular blue.
Is that a super expensive one?
I think I've got about probably $250 in this one total.
So we probably shouldn't be able to fight with it, can we?
My son has. That's why the swing sensor doesn't work, so it doesn't go voo 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 voo.
Oh,
But it does still make it.
You just have to make that sound effect yourself now.
Yeah. Yeah, his is all black. But
that's freaking sweet.
yeah, it's parts from Saberforge and what's the one in Portland? Is Portland Saberforge? I can't remember because one of the shops everybody hates, but they're really popular. I mean, I built this. Jeez. 7 to 10 years ago, at least.
I'm assuming none of you guys remember Brandon.
Not offhand.
In the days of gun channels, for a while there was a dude that lived here in Arizona, and he did a bunch of different things. And one of them was open a shop. I'm trying to remember what the name of it was, but it was like a dojo for people to show up and practice fighting with lightsabers. And then he sold, it was like a store for like it was like a gun shop except for lightsabers. So it was like all the different brands and whatnot, all the different, from the inexpensive ones to the ones for fighting to the ones for looking at to the ones that were like crazy elaborate and all of it in between. He ran that store in Scottsdale, across the parking lot from Scottsdale Gun Club, for I think more than a year. So there was quite a bit of Star Wars stuff there for a while on gun channels. From, he would hang out in the chats like on the regular.
Yeah, I think the soundboard I ordered from England, but I haven't looked online in a long, long time. So there's probably a lot more places now to get parts and stuff from.
Saber Knights. Thanks, Pink.
I got a question.
Yes.
What's your favorite lightsaber from the movies?
Probably Luke's.
Which one?
The original
green
one, the flash camera one. The hilt of it's made from a flash for a camera.
Yep.
That one, just because, the original.
That's my favorite too.
But Pink sent in some pictures. This is his. Oops. There we go.
Is that red or purple or pink?
It looks pink.
Oh, that would make sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah, my son was purple. And then we changed it to green. The purple, you need 2 LEDs to make the purple, and the green I can do with just one.
Oh, it's he's saying it's red. I figured pink because his username.
It's got the red button.
So these are like a really strong flashlight shooting up through there, or something else?
I'll show you what I got in mine, so I'll be right back.
I never had, except for in a Star Wars figure where it came out their arm, I never had anything similar to a lightsaber toy. Just never had one, I guess.
Yeah, the ones they have now are pretty cool. I got some for my nephew when the new movies started coming out.
I can see having like something on a shelf that's a display and having it like ultra realistic to the thing, but I don't want the light thing on it.
Yeah, the ones I got for him were just the time they didn't have a light. He just fight with them. I think he got them taken away by his parents.
Ouch.
Yeah, you give a kid a lightsaber, and he's going to end up hitting something he probably shouldn't.
Well, I guess I won't show you because I don't know where they are.
I would get that black one that is in Mandalorian now. Where it's like an anti-saber or whatever.
Oh, the dark saber.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks pretty cool. So, have any of you seen that show?
DJ has not.
Mandalorian, I haven't seen it either.
It's pretty
Oh,
good.
any of it? Like not even clips or anything?
No.
Yeah, I'm not sure where I put my other LEDs. But yeah, basically it's kind of like a flashlight.
Dude, you got a Baby Yoda poster on your wall.
Yeah, I just see Baby Yoda memes all the time, and Baby Yoda seems friggin' awesome because of the awesome Baby Yoda memes. But I've never actually gotten to see him
Well, that
in the
makes
show
more
or anything.
sense.
Yep.
That makes way more sense because if you'd watched it and you liked him that much, I'd be like, what? But if you've never even seen the show, I could totally see because theoretically, Baby Yoda's cool.
Yep.
Yeah, you can't. Let me.
Are we about to be blinded?
No, I'm not going to turn it on.
Okay.
You see in there, it's a 3-watt LED
That's simple.
inside a heatsink. Because LEDs do get dependent on.
Is there anything in the tube, like a diffraction line or something, or is it just literally shooting a thing up into their material?
Basically, just shooting up in the material. There's a liner inside here to diffuse it, the light. Yeah, you can't really. You can kind of
That
see
makes
it.
sense.
Okay, that makes sense because it looks super. What's the word like? Consistent all the way down. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
look like a weird flashlight shining in a tube or anything.
Yeah, all the ones you see people fight with, those ones don't make noise and stuff. They just light up because it'll trash the electronics.
That's why I wouldn't want all that stuff because you got to be either or, right?
Yeah, mine has taken quite a
Looks
bit
good
of beating,
for fighting.
but
It's not like that inner lining is made out of glow in the dark or something. It's not helping the system, or is it?
I'm not sure what it is. It's kind of an opaque. I lost one of my screws. Damn it.
They're like we got all these wrappers from the nuclear plant when we throw the ion rods into there, and we're just throwing them away. Now we wrap these fluorescent rod tubes up, and then these kids buy them.
Well, they'll glow on their own.
That's what I'm saying.
So let me show. Pink had a couple more pictures of his that we'll show here. with his little doggy. And one more here. There's that. There's that. There's that. Oh, cool. He's got the big hand guard on it. Big Tsuba.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, on a samurai sword, on a katana, that's a Tsuba. 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 I can't say it. Iron Road's out there. Good to see you. Glad you made it. Saying LEDs do get stupid hot. Yeah.
Yeah, we were just talking with him and the server about his truck. Talking about coolant. I got a question. So,
Yes, sir.
if you're going to do a Kylo Ren lightsaber where it's shorting out and catching up fire, would you use the Olight as the LED?
Well, the whole reason he has those cross pieces,
Mhm.
other than they designed it to look like a longsword, is he uses a cracked kyber crystal, which are more powerful, but they're kind of dangerous because they put out so much energy, and those two ports bleed off a little bit of that energy.
See, wouldn't it have been cool if they explained that in the movie?
Yeah, well, there's not a lot cool about those movies, so.
Exactly.
And
I'm okay. I kind of like the element that there's like a backstory that either you can delve into or just watch. You know what I mean? Like you can either, or you, like the thing about Star Wars is pretty much every element of it is explored in either the books or the video games. That's a part of it that we didn't bring up when we were comparing them. But I don't know if Star Trek has any video games at all anymore. They used to in the olden days. But the video game element of Star Wars, I don't know if you count that as canon, is that what it's called? But that's like every time I'm looking something up, or not every time, but occasionally when I'm looking something up with Star Wars, something will be referring to a game where the story, but anyway, that's the part that's neat. Like there's all these different elements, you can research them into these different pieces of media.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff when the newer movies started coming out, and I'd look something up, and then they would reference the books. They would say, oh, the book fills in this missing piece or that.
Right.
So, which is nice, except I haven't read any of the books. And then the older books that were before like in episode 1, I think a bunch of those are no longer canon. Because like there was a book just about the bounty hunters in Jabba's palace, and I think that's the one that explained how Boba escaped the Sarlacc pit. I know it's been brought up in a few different books, but because it talked about his armor protected him, and then just the joints were eaten by the acid.
What about his butt?
I don't know, because I didn't read it. I was talking to somebody who did read it.
That's when you want that stormtrooper butt plate, right?
Beskar butt plate.
Yeah.
And there was one of the books was about Leia being a Jedi, but I don't think those are canon anymore.
Is he cutting out for anyone else, or is it just me?
A little bit.
It's probably me because my Wi-Fi my connection has been dropping.
Would it help if you turned your cam off?
It might, but I refuse to. I will not be bullied by my Wi-Fi.
Yeah, don't take that. You can do it.
Oh.
I stand with Boss.
So we've got a couple more pictures here that I will show, and they come from DJ. So we'll show this one first. Why don't you tell us what we're looking at here?
All right, that is the next picture will also reveal something, but that is yours truly with a laser blaster, a Han Solo one. This one is from the Jedi release. I actually did receive one Christmas of the year the original came out. That was it's the original toy. This was a repop, for the Jedi series, but I did go out and grab them like mid 90s, like early eBay sort of time frame, and I have no idea what their value is. Their collector value is very little because they are worn examples, but man, they're a lot cheaper than trying to put one together from original parts, which I also considered at one point, or a really expensive replica. But yeah, Han was cool with one, but you want to dual wield those blasters. Yeah, I think Greedo and others would think twice. And check out the Guns and Barbecue swag hat there.
Now, you have seen or have not seen the Han Solo movie?
I did see it in theaters, was really disappointed, and have pretty much brain dumped most of what it was that I saw that night.
Barbecue, you have seen the Han Solo movie?
Have not.
And then Baron, you've seen it.
Yeah, I showed it to my nephew. He loved it.
So then I'm pretty sure everybody digs Han Solo's blaster there. My question to everybody who's seen that Han Solo movie is, did that ruin it, or would that make it better? How it's a screw together rifle thing, whatever they did. Like they made it into like a modular thing.
Yeah.
Did that make it better for you, or did that ruin it for you?
Didn't change it.
I get the drift of what you're saying, but I don't recall that from that evening in the cinema. So this was a modular. The blaster was actually modular.
I'm not sure. Woody Harrelson goes here, and he takes a rifle and goes, and then it's like, here, you can have the handgun part of it. And then Han Solo's like, what the hell? Let me have the whole rifle. And he's like, no, you can't have it.
I like that. I like that.
Isn't that what happened? Or did he take? I don't know. He fiddled around with it and gave Han Solo the gun part, the little handgun part. But the idea was that you could fiddle with it, and it's a rifle now. I knew that, but that was the first time I'd seen it. It just disappointed me. I was like, oh, it seemed like.
Didn't that character have two of them?
Yeah, it was something like that. He gave him a part of one or something, but whatever it was, I was like, well, then why would Han Solo carry around that if he knew that he could have a whole big, better one? Why would he carry around that dinky one all the time? I don't know. Nobody else.
I consider that to be far more trick and with a better origin story than some shelf model at Galactic Weapons Store. I mean, I like that backstory. I didn't remember it, but I like it.
Oh, they made a big point of saying that Woody Harrelson gave him that. Like, that's where he got his gun from. Like, that was that was literally telling you the origin of it, right?
I'll have to catch that one another time. When did it come out, by the way? It seems like a decade almost. Like, Barbecue, help me out. You know how I am with dates. It's like half a dozen years.
Rogue One came out in 18 or something. They've been out for a while.
Solo was 2018.
Oh, okay. So then Rogue One is 16 or something.
I definitely brain dumped that evening. That was only like 4 years ago.
Rogue One was 2016.
No, okay, because I've been confused now even more so in this show, and was originally in the previous as the Tactical Quiz show, right? So I know when they're on, when you get little Annie Skywalker thing, like which episode, don't even give me episode numbers, just like what's the title of that one?
Little Baby one? Little Baby?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the first one of all the ones. It's one.
Episode 1.
Yeah.
Phantom Menace.
Phantom Menace. Okay, now, what was the one that was following that now in the timeline towards the generation where I saw all the wars?
The War of the Robots, the Attack of the Clones.
Okay, so that's the Naboo one?
So it's the go-kart race is first, then it's the big robot war, and that garbage, and then it is the Darth Vader's in the lava pit, and then regular Star Wars, and now they decided to make Luke Skywalker and everything.
Got it.
And stuff.
Thank you for that. I was confused as to which elements there, and you picked out ones that were easy for me to relate to.
So does anybody here like the newer ones? Say the last two, Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker.
I'm the unpopular one that I like all of them. I like them less, and I like parts of them, not at all, but I still like all of them. They're all still Star Wars, even though they did horrible things and it's not that good. I still like watching them, and it's still epic. I'd never seen them in a movie theater, but I would totally watch them in a movie theater.
I like that kids enjoy them. So you can take your kid to Star Wars. That's good.
Barbecue?
What's that?
The last two Star Wars movies.
I have not seen anything since the trilogies.
Ah.
Yeah.
I will say I am a sucker, so I still watch them all in the theater, and then I buy them when they come out. Back, God, which one was it? What was it? Attack of the Clones? Somewhere around there, where we watched it, and then after a while later, I was talking to my son, and I told him, "Yeah, I don't think I'm going to buy this one. I didn't like the movie." He goes, "Dad, you already bought it." I forgot that I had bought it already. PNW Woods saying, when the Empire came to Hoth, what was the machine gun the snowtroopers had?
Like the actual machine gun that it was made out of, or the in-canon one?
It was the one made out of Lewis gun, right? The big fat water-cooled barrel.
I'm thinking that's what he means.
I talked about it in the tactical quiz, but I don't memorize the name of those fake guns. It's like the DL something blaster or something, probably.
Yeah, he wants the canon answer. I got no idea.
Yeah, I don't either.
I do know that the rebels on Hoth used AR-15s.
Really?
Yep.
Interesting. Can we pull up an image of those? I'm having a hard time imagining or remembering.
Well, the thing that I was looking, or whatever I was looking up the tactical quiz stuff off of, they said those are STG 44s.
Yeah, they used those in Star Wars, the first one. They started using AR-15s in the sequels because they were cheaper.
Well, that definitely makes more sense because it doesn't even hardly look like an STG 44 when they put them next to each other, but it kind of does in the way that the barrel has like a upper piston, basically like that thing, the piston that STG has. That is on the Star Wars version, but they could have just added that.
And in Rogue One, what's that? The captain of the ship, I forgot his name. Andor? Cassian Andor? Is that it? He's just got like an AR pistol in that movie.
They didn't even try in that one. It's like literally just, here, just take this AR pistol,
Yeah.
take the skin guard off. Like,
It's an AR pistol with like a muzzle device glued on it.
But that movie definitely, the Rogue One, they just put 1 billion guns in there. Just went nuts with putting guns in there.
So I got another email from Pink, and let me.
So I guess
do
Woods is
this.
saying that the one that this. Oh, is he talking about like that big? There's like a scene in Hoth when or on Empire when the stormtroopers are like setting up a big tripod mounted belt.
Oh, the
fed
crew
weapon.
weapon.
If he's
The
talking
crew-
about that, that's different. But if he's just talking like the various rifles and stuff, I mean, all the stormtrooper guns are awesome. Like they're all super awesome. Basically, from looking it up, there's, the little one, the Sten or Sterling or whatever that one was that Princess Leia uses in one of them. That one. And then there's the bigger one. And then there's that really long one, an MG42 looking thing. So they're all cool looking guns. That's Brandon's place. So if you went to the door and turned around, you'd be looking at Scottsdale Gun Club on the other side of the parking lot.
This is Pink sent the I put it out in the chat, a link for this Instagram post for the Saber Knights Academy. And
So
it
this
didn't
would
look
have
like
been- I'm sorry, Boss. Where in the release of the films would this have been approximately? Like, at what film point was this?
No, this is real life. This happened in Phoenix.
Right, but like, in what, like, was it during like the 4th episode or whichever? I don't know the timeline there.
Oh, you're saying when did he open the store?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was probably whenever, the last 3, whatever those are called, whenever the first of the last 3 was coming out, maybe that era, maybe.
I don't know.
oh,
So when it comes to cannon, I have a question about the
Oh, there's
ion cannon. So ion cannons, if we were to like give an analog to modern warfare, well, are these things like howitzers? What would we equate them with? Not trying to build them out of, but like what would be like their artillery position called, or the kind of
Good.
thing where we could reference from something.
I would say Big Bertha.
Oh yeah.
Would be the closest to an ion cannon.
Well, a cannon is a cannon, right? So,
Well,
like an ion blaster is an ion blaster, an ion rifle is an ion rifle.
yeah, but equating the power that's not a nuclear bomb.
Oh, I don't know. There's some things out there that try to compare them, I guess. So I don't know. They must have some sort of a unit of measure to compare them to. Probably stick a dynamite or something, or a bullet or something. But the idea is that they create a thing of plasma and then wing it, right? Like that something in there creates a little wad of plasma, and then they propel that plasma. So that's the bolt, or is it something else?
So that's the AR-15 they turned into the blaster rifle for Empire Strikes Back.
With like the 4 from a pump shotgun, and that looks like an AK hooded barrel. And that buttstock's kind of like that's more than slightly cheesy.
Yeah,
Anybody got a guess on those optics?
I got no idea.
But it hardly matters because all they had to do is kit patch this. They just made something that looked okay, and then everybody passed on it, and then they would make a rubber mold, make the resin versions of these over and over and over. So these things are just solid plastic things that are easy to cast and look good from different angles. Probably they just made a couple of 5 of them, right, or something, and then took a bunch of pictures from different angles, and then the director was like, I like the what this one looks like from all over.
Mario Mosen, Sergeant Joe Smith, and Sharon Hinchcliffe are out there. Good evening.
Good evening, all.
So it's official. The AR-15 is rated for use on Hoth.
Yeah, I wouldn't have seen that the way it was with the things that they stuck onto it like appendages, and the differences and things. I would have been looking for a pattern that wasn't there in confusion. So that's interesting. Thanks for that trivia bit.
I forgot to bring down the stuff. We were going to do a giveaway, and I forgot to bring down Star Wars t-shirts so people could choose. Whoever wins can choose. But of course, I am not prepared. So let me call up the giveaway tool. StreamYard giveaway. And what should we have for a hashtag?
It's got to be something Star Wars, right?
But yeah, hashtag Star Wars. I was hoping someone would say hashtag Star Wars.
Hashtag Vader.
So, whoops, wrong screen. Out there. Wait, come on. All right, let me edit this. Hashtag. All right. So, put hashtag Star Wars out in the chat. Leave a comment saying hashtag Star Wars, and it'll enter you for a drawing for a Star Wars t-shirt. I think I have, well, I only have extra large and double extra large. I only have men's sizes. One of them should be an at t-shirt. And then I just bought a couple. I cannot remember what they are. And then I'll throw in some patches, stickers, and maybe even a bonus prize, something that nobody wants.
Is this panel eligible, Foss?
You
Yeah,
throwing in
everybody.
DJ?
You're gonna ship a box of 9mm ammo?
No, I've got an NRA thermos, and I forget what
That'd make
the
a
other.
good target if they don't like the NRA.
And there was something else like that I had that.
I would
That's sent
totally
to me.
rock that thermos.
Is that like the booby prize or what?
Well, it depends on how you feel about it, but so hashtag Star Wars and enter. Everybody's eligible. Anybody who can type can enter.
If they don't like it, they can put a overnight sticker over the NRA logo.
Yep, you
There you
will
go.
get an overnight sticker.
Ooh. Sweet.
Basic
Look.
prize packs that I send out will come with a DM Foss sticker, a DM Foss overnight sticker, Pocket Constitution, and then whatever patches and stickers I happen to grab. So we'll let that run for a little bit here. 5-10 more minutes. And then we'll do the drawing. What was the other thing that we had that we're going to maybe talk about? I don't remember what it was.
Talking to me?
Yeah, I'm talking to you. I don't see anybody else here. You must be talking to me.
Nice riff, Foss.
I got no clue.
Because we were talking about something earlier. What was we talking about? Oh, I know. I was gonna John Wick.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this was kind of before I realized. Oh yeah, it's the fourth now. I guess for some of you it's the fifth already. But I had made some disparaging remarks about the John Wick movie, the fighting in the John Wick movies, which I did not care for. I didn't think they were very good fight scenes. But John Wick 3 was different. I thought they had very good fight scenes, and then the stuff with Halle Berry and her dogs. Her fighting with the dogs, I had never seen anything like it, and that was awesome. Any of you guys seen John Wick 3? Parabellum?
It's amazing.
Oh, wait a minute.
Haven't
I
seen
have
any of the
seen
John
it.
Wicks.
I can't remember it though.
Just the stuff with the dogs, the way they fought. Either the dogs were attacking or she was attacking, and then they'd kind of work their way forward that way. I thought that was awesome.
It only took
And-
them 3 movies to give the dogs a good role.
Yeah, and then the John Wick part, his fighting got better too, where he didn't waste as much movements as he did. And then the whole thing where they're throwing the knives at each other and they're just winging them, and most of them are just bouncing off. I thought that was good.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. He keeps throwing them and missing John Wick and hitting his buddy, right?
Well, yeah, and then half of them would hit like sideways, so they just kind of bounce off. But I just, I just wanted to give John Wick his due. So I finally got around to watching the third one, and it was a lot better. I'm not sure where
He's still in
the
it?
story's going, but
John Wick is still in it.
yep, there's supposed to be another one coming.
So what's the deal? He was doing something, and then his friend calls him, and he goes and helps her. Is that what the movie is about?
No, he broke the rules, so he was blacklisted, and basically there's a bounty on his head. So he goes to the very top, the guy who's at the top of the assassin world, who basically runs everything, to get absolution, and he makes peace and then breaks his word. So at the end of the movie, he gets shot and dumped over the side of a building, but
Yeah,
then
that
his
was, like, pretty painful.
his body disappears, so he's still on the run, and there is supposed to be another one that they're making. So
What did you think of the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly revolver scene? In that, like, I guess it'd be not a museum, but display pieces where he puts
John
multiple
Wick
guns
2.
into one
oh,
gun.
he builds the
tries to get
gun.
caliber. Yeah.
John Wick 2.
Was that John Wick 2?
Or was that in 3? Because I remember that scene for sure, but I thought that
I
was
think
2.
it was in 3.
Oh, if that was 3, then I've definitely seen 3. That I couldn't stand. That was so fake. It was horrible. And then the
Having fun
bullet
review.
part, there was something about the bullet part. Like, does all this to get a bullet or something, or then he takes the bullet out of the thing. Like, it was just so dumb. Like, he took a bullet out of a display thing that there's no way it would ever be a real bullet or something like that.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. I had mixed feelings. It was kind of a clunky scene where he's just kind of throwing stuff together, which
Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
efficient and it was wrong. So if he was trying to be like good at guns, he's not. And if it was trying to be accurate, it wasn't.
PNW Woods is asking, is Keanu the best Canadian not named Bob?
What about William Shatner?
I've never met Bob, so that's a question for G Webs.
Well, Bob's real. So he's saying is Canoe the best that of the ones that are just on TV? I like that dude. He's done a bunch of good movies.
He's supposed to be a down to earth guy. You know, he rides the
That's
subway and all that.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's also everybody says he's just a regular person. He's not like super weird about being a movie star and stuff.
I did just watch Bill and Ted Face the Music, which was awful. It was awful.
The new one with the
Not,
robots and stuff. I don't know. It was all right. It wasn't that bad. I don't want to call it a good movie, but I think I remember watching it and going, all right. I thought it was going to be really bad, and it wasn't.
So the third one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought the trilogy in a pack.
Oh, sorry, DJ. Guess we
No,
should have said
I can't
spoilers.
imagine. There's no spoilers. I mean, those movies are not good. I don't. Everybody likes them. I don't. Do they like the fighting in them, or I don't know what they like about them.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to checking them out at some point. And Foss,
I guess
there
I
are
won't.
strong
spoil them, but
odds
there's
that
some-
What was that, DJ?
I was saying I haven't seen them yet, and there are strong odds, better than fair odds that I won't remember many of these details. And if I do, it'll be like, wait, where did I hear about this? So I am aware what some of the contributions have been to popular culture. And gee, didn't you grab photos of one? Was that at this year's shot or some other thing? Or am I being a little bit confused?
I
People
did.
using it?
So somebody downstairs next to the food court brought their car from that movie in, but I only did that because to be ironic or whatever. Like, I don't like that movie. And I figured it was a bunch of people would want to see it or what. And I was also posting on Instagram in real time in case the people that were there that did like that movie wanted to see it. But no, I almost didn't because I didn't want to endorse the movie, but I don't really care one way or the other. I just don't like the movie that much. But I wasn't posting it because I was digging the car. It was just a smashed up car. I really don't even remember what the car has to do with anything. Does he race a car in that movie or any of those movies?
Well, in the first movie,
In the first
he steals
one.
car.
Okay.
Yeah, when he steals it back.
The point is, like, this, you think you already know. Like, the spoiler is, like, they basically do mean thing to a dog at the beginning of the movie. So I'm like, immediately, like, this movie's horrible. I don't like this movie. And I only watched it because everybody else said it was so good. And I don't mind Canoe, but they're mean to dogs in the movie. I don't like it.
Has anyone seen The Norseman?
I haven't. I've seen it. I've seen like a picture of it, but I haven't watched it.
Television or film?
It's a film.
Okay.
It's a Viking movie. It's basically retelling Hamlet, because Hamlet was based on this story.
A Dane. Interesting.
Mhm.
So is that recent?
Yeah, it's out right now. Looks
This
pretty good.
says The Norseman is a Norwegian comedy television series about a group of Vikings living in someplace Norheim around the year 790.
I haven't heard of that either.
I just took it up and this is what it showed up. I guess it might not be what they're talking about. Because it's in Norlandic, I guess, whatever their language is.
Yeah, this one's a English movie that's out right now.
Were it not for the exception just 2 weeks ago of seeing a film in a theater, it had been years and maybe even all the way back to Solo since I had sat in a theater and watched a film.
How you doing, Sharon?
Good evening, all. You want to see The Norseman. You want to see it in the theater. The other husband and I saw it Sunday night. So good. Really, really well done. It is a very dark film, not just in the subject matter. They don't use all the lighting that they use in the film, if it's all natural, or it's the lighting that they had during the period. So it's fires, there are some torches, or it's moonlight, things like that. It's really, really well done. It's a very violent film, but it's very, very well done. It's not violence for violence. It's violence as this is the story of what happened.
It looks really good.
Yeah, it's really good. Didn't realize how long the film was when we were watching it. I mean, we knew going in that it was going to be a long night, but it's well done. It's really good to see. But you want to see it in the theater. A small screen's not going to do it justice.
Is it a 3-hour movie?
I think so. What does IMDb say about it?
So last call for entering the giveaway, hashtag Star Wars. So we'll do the drawing here in just a second. Terrace Miss Kitchen's got in there. Squeaked by the deadline. So let me go ahead and do that. Right chair. All right. So let me get rid of that banner here first.
Did we have to type Star War in there?
Uh-oh.
It's 2 hours and 17 minutes.
Oh, that's not bad.
So it's not bad. Definitely one. So it's the Northmen, not Norsemen. So I was wrong on that. But it's really, really well done. Right now, I think IMDb is showing it a 7.8 out of 10.
And so, Baron, I think I heard you say that it was like an adaptation of the tale that Hamlet, the Shakespearean play, is based on.
Yep.
Is there any dialogue that accesses that Shakespearean script at all, if you're familiar?
I doubt it.
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
It doesn't. It's in English.
But not Elizabethan. No part of
No,
it is like
no.
delivery of lines like that. Okay.
Oh, thank God, no.
I don't mind.
There is some Russian in it, or Slavic. I can tell you the costuming is authentic. It's seeing some of the embroidery on the tunics of the women and some of the men is authentic to the time and of the cultures that were part of the, not just the Danes, but also the Icelandic, because this happened in Iceland, but also in from Russia and from one of the other locations, because they actually do call out that they were enslaving some of the Slavs and some of the Russians.
Interesting. I haven't seen a period piece in a long time. Well, no films except for one anytime recently. But yeah, I might have to check that out. Sounds cool.
Yeah, it's worth the time and everything else. It's really, really well done.
But Sharon, I got to ask. The giveaway's coming. I got to ask though, Sharon, is it better than Star Wars? And I'm going to say that's Star Wars, the first one.
Yes, and I saw both in the theater live when they came out. God, I'm old. Yes, I remember seeing Star Wars when it first came out in the theater and waiting in line as a kid for it. Yeah, it's much better. Much better.
The giveaway tool should work without the ass.
It did.
Yeah.
And I need to check my spelling because that's not the first time I've done that. So you should still be in if you left off the S like I did. Because I went back and counted and it looked like it got everybody.
Yeah.
So hopefully.
The one movie, not all of them.
Yeah, just one war. So here we go.
The first Star Wars.
Yeah, I can see everybody's in there. And Guns of Barbecue.
Oh my gosh!
That's fake.
Congrats.
Hot damn.
Hashtag rigged.
Over on the private chat where you're like, did the $5 go through to PayPal? And then he's like, yes, it did. Go ahead and let me win. And then you're like, okay, I'll hit the button. Like, that seems shady.
I greased the $5. I actually left a $2 tip for him as well. It was actually $7.
I'm going to contribute 10 next time. I want to win.
Barbecue's got the hustle.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed. And Baron snagging that Star Wars May the 4th be with you tactical quiz. That was fun, and congratulations. I don't think I got to say that out loud.
Yeah, since you've got 2 wins for Baron, 2 wins for DJ. I think next week they should have a rap battle to find the ultimate winner.
Whoa.
That sounds fun.
I'm down. I think.
That would imply that everything's over. Not even close to it.
Well, I just want to hear him rap. And I should, I have your email still, barbecue. So,
Okay.
Are you 2XL?
Depends on the shirt. If it's like a pre-shrunk already, XL.
I don't know. So,
Let's
I'll
say
s-
it varies. But normally I've been wearing XL recently, but yeah. And I'm still trying to lose weight again. I'm actually down almost 15 pounds again, so that's good.
wow.
Good job.
Congrats.
Yeah.
Congrats, man. Right on.
So
So,
that was after packing on another 30, so halfway there.
Are you going to make me do math? Come on now.
it's not required.
Thank goodness. I failed that qualification.
Every time.
You know it.
Let me show. Pink sent some more emails in here. Oop. Where'd that go? Yeah. Let's share that. Do that. We'll go there and. Which one? There we go. That's a fancy one.
Schmoligans.
Oops. I don't want to do that. There we go. It's probably a lot of money right there.
Anyone know the character?
I'm trying to see it. Like my image is just a few square inches, but yeah, I don't recognize. That must be the weapon of the character behind in some poster or something?
No, it's got a name tag on there.
Okay. I'm trying to
fr-
figure out from the image behind it. They are not related, I guess.
I have no idea what we're looking at.
From Clone Wars, Adi Gali Shakti.
It's a
I don't-
lightsaber in a glass case in front of a wall that has like or maybe there's a comic or something there also, but it's basically a lightsaber hilt or whatever they call it, like the lightsaber part of sitting on a glass shelf. Pink's house, I guess.
Yeah, from the shop. He sent a bunch of pictures of the bunch of other hilts also. Let me show this one here. We'll stop that one. Let me get rid of these. There's go back to that. Do that. Do that. I think I want that one and then that one.
Well, I almost recognized that. Does it say whose it was or the character it was supposed to be?
That's Vader's.
There we go.
Or Skywalker. Sorry, Skywalker's.
Is
Yeah,
it?
that's Luke's green one from Return of the Jedi.
Well, so that got a lot of camera time in that duel.
And let me show this one too. Oops, I want window. There we go. Here's Yoda's.
Are these at Pink's or are these at the Brandon's place?
City took photos. Those were for sale at the shop.
Let me see. I'll show one more here. He sent a bunch of them. But, yeah, we'll go with this one. And whoops, let's stop that one. And then we'll go to. Is that the right one? Is that the one I wanted? Yeah.
That's a nice looking one.
It is. I went with hints of Skywalkers, but it's, not as expensive. Mine's the Kia version.
Yeah, do they have to license that when they make an exact replica?
Generally, they do, yeah. Unless it's done in conjunction with whoever owns the rights.
It's some pretty cool ones.
Didn't know I would ever see a lightsaber armory. That was pretty cool. And you say there were more of those, and we could dig them out on Instagram, eh?
Well, these ones he sent to me in attachments, but
Oh, okay, right on. I'm glad you shared them.
and now they're it's to where there'll be cutouts so you can see, you can put a crystal in and then you can see the crystal light up too. Really fancy stuff now.
Do you think a lightsaber could stop a phaser?
Phaser?
Mm-hmm.
Depends on the wavelengths. We're both talking about light, right? Lightsabers, I would say it depends on the wavelength.
What would you rather have, a phaser or a lightsaber? I know what I would want.
Lightsaber.
Yeah.
I'd cut my arm off with a lightsaber. I can shoot a gun though, so I can shoot a phaser.
Practically speaking, you want a blaster or a phaser, but if you want to be kick-ass, you want the lightsaber.
Exactly.
I want to keep both legs and both arms.
What would happen if you had a negligent discharge while appendix carrying your lightsaber?
It'd cauterize it.
Instantly.
True story. Yeah, that's a bright side to that, I guess.
Yeah, I just did a quick Google search on could a lightsaber deflect a phaser, and it's all over the place.
Okay, so like we're talking about what wavelengths, but I think phasers they're essentially plasma weapons all the way up to disruptor.
Yeah, I guess it depends on what you're classifying a phaser to be. Is it more on the light or is it more of the plasma? So that's going to be the key. Is what's the power source? Or what's the actual unit for whatever it does?
So you're bombing me with physics, and barbecue bombs me with arithmetic all the time. But Foss, I'm out on this one. I had simple curiosity, just dashed.
Yeah, physics is just it's advanced math.
Yep.
Don't convert me, nerds.
That's
I'm
They
good
deep.
with
taught
it.
us science, but it is
Oh.
definitely a math.
Combo. All right. No disrespect to those who understand better than I.
Well, considering I work in IT, yes. And I work in a weird subsection of it too. But yeah, that conversation has happened at my old office quite a bit.
I just did see for pink. Let's open that over there. Oops. Oh, that's not what I
According-
wanted. You can
according-
buy pink lightsabers.
According to this thing I found, it says that phasers is an acronym for phased energy refraction, and then it's a particle weapon because it fires a nadion particle beam. So a phaser is sending out a beam that you would, unlike a ion blaster in Star Wars, like a little wad of ion gets shot towards somebody. So the lightsaber can hit the wad of ion and knock it out of the way. This is a beam, so it'd be like catching a laser. Like it, whether or not it would catch the lightsaber and do anything. You could get the lightsaber in front of it for sure, but would the lightsaber do anything to a beam of whatever a nadion particle is? Is that one of the places where the two universes wouldn't agree on a factor or characteristic, and then you can just debate it either way because it's a thing that's not the same in both universes, that nadion particle?
Could be. I mean, if it's not based on Newtonian physics, I mean, that's going to be the real key. If it's not something that exists in both worlds or has different properties in both worlds.
Or like one of the, in Star Trek, they throw, I guess in both universes, they'll throw like these wild cards in, like whenever you get like wherever like it turns into magic, that's the nadion particle. I don't know if the nadion's for real, but I've never heard of it before.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things where it's like, okay, that's a bit, it's like figuring out what is, some of the stuff that they have, it does based on some physics, but some of the other is definitely magic, or just an advanced form of magic.
Pink was saying a lightsaber that shoots out the bottom. Basically, this is Ezra's lightsaber. So you've got your lightsaber up here, and then I don't know. Can you? I guess you probably can't see my mouse, my pointer, what I'm pointing at. But there's a barrel right above where your hand is. So this top piece, just below the blade, that's a barrel for a laser.
So again, pardon my eyes and the size on my screen, but how is the projectile actuated? Is it also like a thumb stud, or like where is it on that? Where's the trigger essentially?
Looks like it'll be your finger. There's a button on the hilt.
Huh, I wonder where's the
double?
selector? The selector
Does it
switch.
double as a stapler?
No doubt. I was seeing the same thing in my head, Baron.
That's my stapler. I'll burn this place down.
Should be red.
Nice office space there, Pop.
So according to Wikipedia, do you know how many things make more money than Star Wars in the world?
Not much, I don't think.
There's 4 of them.
Wait,
4
single
things.
film, or are you talking franchise?
They call them franchises.
Okay. I just wanted to be clear. Sorry.
Marvel?
Avengers?
No.
Manchester
Really?
United.
Marvel Comic Universe is 1, 2, 3, 4 below. And here's some numbers. Star Wars, 70 billion, let's say. Marvel Comic, 40 billion. This is Wikipedia.
Wow.
So I'm not.
How about
I'm not making it.
how about the Trek?
No way. Star Trek isn't even on this. It's way down here somewhere.
All right. I thought it was apropos.
No,
Jay-Z's
seriously.
out there. Good evening.
Star Trek is way below. Star Trek is under Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and below SpongeBob.
And in a special spot.
What are the other top ones?
The ones ahead of Star Wars
Yeah.
are they're never gonna. I'm gonna give them to you. The one that's Star Wars is 70. The next one is Winnie the Pooh at 81.
What?
How did that happen?
That makes sense, though.
From 1924. So I guess I have no idea. The next one makes more sense. Mickey Mouse at 83 billion. So somehow Mickey Mouse
Can see that.
almost Winnie the Pooh almost beats Mickey Mouse. That makes no sense. But anyway, then the next one, there's two more. Hello Kitty, 89 billion.
I can see that.
Oh,
A
Hello
lot
Kitty.
of
Oh, I can see Hello Kitty doing it.
a
And
lot
then
of
the next
merchandise.
one dwarfs everything. 110 billion. What are we missing that's going to dwarf everything? And
Sesame Street.
Barbie.
Mario is only 47. Disney Princess is separate, I guess, is 47. Marvel is
Pac-Man.
38. Spider-Man by itself is 31. Batman is 30. Transformers is 30. Barbie, did you say 30?
It's not Pokemon, is it?
Yep. Pokemon, 110 billion.
Biggity bam to the Baron again.
You know why? Because of the video games. Video games are bigger than movies, and they've got video games and all the licensed toys and garbage. So
And the cards and
cards.
everything
Card
else.
games,
They
yeah.
have all, yeah, that makes sense. Winnie the Pooh, I can see beating Disney easily, or see beating it. I really can, only because you had the Disney portion that was purchased from it, but the family or the estate still owns a large portion of the rights for it, and it's actually under the artwork right now, I believe. So yeah, I can see Winnie the Pooh doing that. That's a huge franchise.
just considering it's a book and one character. I mean, there's no like whole series of Winnie the Pooh universes. It's Winnie the Pooh, and then
Mhm.
Mickey Mouse is like those. I guess they're not putting the whole Disney toys and every. Well, they're saying retail sales 82 billion, and they're saying box office. Anyway, so they're only a couple of billion apart from Winnie the Pooh clobbering all of Mickey Mouse and Friends.
And
Yeah.
another thing to consider with Winnie the Pooh is the comic strip that I think is still in production. And all the reprints of those and the collections
Yeah.
between the time its inception and today. I
Mhm.
myself have the Milne box set from when I was a kid. I love that series.
I
So,
just picked up a brand new redo from the estate. They licensed it for a beautiful hardback reprinting of it.
Sweet.
That's just gorgeous.
Yeah, I bought one. Not that one, but when my son was born. I really like Winnie the Pooh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was a time when Barbecue accused me of looking completely like Eeyore on more than one occasion, and
no,
also
sounding,
speaking like
sounding.
him. And I looked like one at one point at least.
No. I said that you look like a basset hound. Mainly that one
Oh,
that was on the part store's countertop that was kind of yellow and made of plastic, and you put your loose change in them. That one.
oh my God. What have I ever done to you, Barbecue? Anyway,
You're
not so inaccurate, actually, ladies and gentlemen.
But it's a great story, and there's a reason why Disney went after it to do the animation and everything from it. But the family
it?
still owns a lot. They only can do some of it. You have the two different likenesses of Winnie the Pooh.
Doesn't it?
Oh,
leave
okay. So
copyright?
like the cartoon version and like the old.
You have the A.A. Malign or whoever the illustrator was for that. You have that version, and then you have the Disney version.
Doesn't it lose copyright here soon?
It might, but some of the stuff that they do on it for some of the illustrations, if it's a new illustration on it, I think that actually might be out of copyright.
Yeah, they'll own the artwork, but the story will be out of copyright.
The artwork
So
will be out
anyone
of
will be able
copyright
to-
too.
Will it?
Yeah,
Like the Disney stuff won't.
The Disney stuff won't, and that's due to the Sony Bono extension on the copyright law.
Oh wow, I thought it was just because the answer was going to be just because it was more recent and had more years.
No, it's
Sonny
there was
Bono. What does Sonny have to do with this?
there was an
He
extension
owns a lot of
done.
records.
Actually, that was part of it because it used to be that it was the life of the creator plus a certain number of years, and that was actually changed. I want to say in the 80s that might have been changed, and that was done because it used to be you only had copyright for like 7, 15, or 20 years. If you take a look at old books, you'll see how many times that they redid it and reprinted it out to submit for the copyright to hold on to it.
Yeah.
Now it's the life it was the life of the creator plus 75 years. So Disney did something with, and along with Sony Bono's estate, and has it even so it's a 96-year extension right now that they have on this. And it's so you have all this work that's been created recently that is hardly ever going to come out into the public domain, where Disney's done so much work that they've pulled from on stories and fables and everything else from the public domain, that to do other stuff, it's like it's very difficult. So
Let me just take a second to say hello to the goddamn bacon. Good
Hey, Dad.
evening. And to answer Pink's question, oops, not that question. Oh, was Calvin Hobbes? Calvin and Hobbes makes, I looked it up, $10 million a year.
mhm.
And
That's a tiny
then
residual. I mean that's doing better than fair. Come on. I
for
love that series.
PNW Woods, the wonderful thing about Tiggers is Tiggers are wonderful things. Their tops are made out of rubber. Their bottoms are made out of springs. They're bouncy, 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 fun, 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 fun. The most wonderful thing about Tiggers is I'm the only one.
Tigglies
Copyright
are
strike.
Tiggers are cuddly fellas. Tiggers are awfully sweet. Everyone else is jealous. That's why I repeat and repeat the wonderful thing about Tiggers, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think there's another line there, boss. I was glad to tag in there. Maybe you and I should team up on one of those rap kind of things. I think that'd be a dynamite duo. Baron, are you threatened by that?
So it looks like Winnie the Pooh is coming into public domain this year, along with Franz Kafka.
What does that mean? That anybody could just play with Winnie the Pooh now?
Yes, actually, yes. They do not have to pay licensing fees or copyright things like that to Disney or to whomever else owns it. It's really how this whole thing works. You always want to double check, but U.S. copyright law is the most insane things that have done. And I think what I'm seeing right now, 1998 with the Copyright Term Extension Act, also known as the Sony Bono Act. It's the work and everything else. It's the life of the author or the creator plus a certain amount of years on this, and it's pretty interesting on how long it has come up. And this one, let's see, I'll send this over. It's a pretty interesting thing to go into it, but this really kept Disney and Mickey Mouse from going into public domain also.
So wouldn't that mean Superman will become public domain in 10 years?
Eventually, yes, if they don't make changes.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely something, if somebody wants to do work or derivative work or things like that, you definitely want to investigate into it. Copyright law is, as under intellectual property, is vicious. they will go for blood. It's the same thing with trademarks. You will see trademarks fiercely protected because of that. If they don't protect their trademark in one case and it's found out, they lose trademark protection. They lose the register of protection. And it's not just, and copyright law is interesting for intellectual property. You've got your state laws. You have, and this is dealing with somebody who's an artist. You have your state laws that you're going to want to know about. You're going to want to know about U.S. law for the federal, and then you're going to want to know about international law. And yes, as an artist, you're going to end up knowing a lot more different things with everything, but you have to. I know Arizona used to have a class put on in Phoenix from the Bar Association, and it was copyright law basics for artists. And it was done by several law firms who decided to do this as part of their pro bono work that they had to do every so often. One of the things that I know from when I used to live in Arizona, unless it's been changed since I moved, any gallery that you have your artwork in and it's sold, that gallery must pay you within 30 days. Can't be written out of the contract. You must receive a check within 30 days. Who carries the insurance? Is it the gallery, or is it the artist, or is it a combination, or is it something negotiated? And laws in New York State are completely different from Arizona or California. So it's really something you want to look into. Y'all think firearm laws are bad? Copyright and intellectual property is even worse.
Yeah, you can be sued just for using a color, a registered color. Because like the Barbie pink, there's people been sued for using that Barbie pink.
And especially if you call it that name. If you call it by that name and use it, yes, you can be. If you don't call it by that name and you're going from the Pantone colors for that, and there's a specific color blue that almost every woman knows, same thing. You can be sued if you call it by that name instead of calling it Robin's egg.
It is no longer May 4th.
When I worked at Walgreens, I was the photo tech, and the stuff you had to jump through for that was insane because if you just printed off one copyrighted photo and the photographer found out, they could sue the person who printed it. They could sue the store itself. They could sue the store manager. And there is one other person that they could sue. I don't remember who that is. The company. And each of those suits starts at a minimum $15,000. So for one photo, $60,000 in their pocket.
Yep.
What do you mean? Like if somebody take a picture of a painting or something?
Say you had a photo that said Olin Mills on it, and you took it to Walgreens and got a copy done, and you didn't have the copyright release from Olin Mills, and then Olin Mills found out, Olin Mills could turn around, sue the photo tech that printed it, the store manager, the store, and Walgreens themselves.
Yes.
Dastardly.
It's to protect the rights of the photographer who took the photo.
And the funny thing is, I mean, if photographers really wanted, they could just have somebody go in and be like, yeah, see if they'll print this. Yeah. Because again, I mean, $60,000 right there. And that's minimum.
JC is saying they had an issue with at his work involving a barrel of green paint. It was labeled John Deere green. They sent it back and relabeled it crabapple green.
Yep, that is a color for sure.
Yeah, and it's a real thing that goes along with this. With the whole thing with intellectual property, all the stuff comes from Pantone. Pantone is what sends what everybody talks about for color theory and everything else. And it's also how the colors for when you go into the paint store and you say, like, I like this color, Pantone is what comes up with the formula that creates those colors. It's a consortium of paint manufacturers, things like that. And one of the reasons why, as an example, you can't find candy apple red or cherry red, that color from cars from the 1950s, it's no longer being produced. It literally is not being produced unless it's an artist's pigment, because it's cadmium red. Cadmium red is extremely toxic. And this goes into an economy of scale. So that really incredible red was cadmium red. And when the auto manufacturers stopped using it, it was only being done for artist paints, and that was it. It's extremely expensive, and that's why you can't find that red color paint unless you do specialty paints for cars.
There's a color, mummy brown or something, that they literally crushed up mummies and used that to make the brown.
That I would not
Mummy
be
brown.
surprised about. There's a color for the blue that you would see in religious paintings, and it was the mantle of the Madonna, the Virgin Mother. That was ground up lapis lazuli, the precious stone. That's what give you that. That would give you that color.
For some of those like cathedrals and stuff, that's what they were doing. They're like, I don't care, smash up gold and smear it on the wall. That's what it's all about. So
that was the pigment. That was the pigment itself. Yeah, my contact with Pantone was working with the graphics department and duplicating artwork onto compact discs and other surfaces.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to do color Pantone matching when you're mixing the ink. Like I gave it a shot for about 6 months and wasted hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of supplies. And it really was a matter of having people who were worked formerly on printing presses, because their eyes, even though the one guy who was best at it, he was in his mid 60s when he started there, but his eye was so good for things that he was nearly infallible, and certainly to a hell of a lot of clients who just went, yep, that's the color.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those old guys from the printing presses, they were good. I loved working with them. God, I just dated myself again. I loved working with those guys, and I had gone to. You'll appreciate this. I don't know what happened to it, and I need to find them. I don't think they came up when I moved from Phoenix to Seattle. I used to have the Pantone color chips, the whole thing that would spread out in the fan.
Mm-hmm. Fans out, and those are expensive. They were expensive as all hell back in my ability to reference them, but they're so super cool. I mean, if someone isn't familiar with a Pantone book, it is like the same kind of paint chip arrangement you would see in a paint department, and all those pigments and gradations that you see from all the different manufacturers. Now shuffle them all together, magnify that by a factor of 10 in color examples, and they all have a number and a name. And that's how you would match up things. Like if you were a company wishing to send your work out, they match that color exactly. It's a crazy amount of things to pass basically paint chips up against a printed surface on. But,
the best thing is when I would go to Home Depot and such like that, and I'd bring my Pantone chips in with me, and I'm like, match this color. Some of them were not happy with me on it, but it matched, and they're like, wait a minute, this gave me a match. I'm like, I know it gave me a match, because this is the company that sets the color for the paints, and it sets the colors for the plastics and everything. And here's a little bit of trivia for you guys, if you ever want for that, is the algorithm for converting Pantone into CMYK is a patent that's owned by Kodak.
Boss, I missed the photo hut.
So who owns it now? Because
Kodak still owns it.
Is Kodak still a thing?
I think for that part of it is the intellectual part. That's the reason why Photoshop is so expensive. It's those patents for the color conversions. So you were talking about with the matching the colors and everything else for the customers, and saying like, I want it to be this color, and using Pantone. That color math to convert that's the reason why, one of the reasons why Photoshop is so expensive. They're paying for those patents. You don't have to worry about knowing that conversion. There were times where the monitors were just not acting correctly. They'd been on too long or what have you. And I would select colors not by what was on screen, but what was in my hand with the Pantone chips. Because I knew if I selected that color, no matter what, when it was converted to CMYK, or we added in a fifth ink for a press, it would come out exactly that way, no matter
I remember.
Mhm.
Wow.
Well, it's still like that, depending on how somebody's got their screen set up, is how it's going to look to them versus how it's going to look to print.
And the issue with your screens is, oh yes, I'm south of Seattle now, but yeah, I'm in the Pacific North. I'm in the Puget Sound area. Bacon asked about that. One of
Yeah,
the things that
he's also in Washington.
Gotcha. One of the things to be aware of is when you're doing colors is whether or not something is in or out of gamut. The reds that you see on screen are not always reproducible. They won't always print. It's not possible. And you have something that's known as in gamut or out of gamut. And if it's out of gamut, it's not going to be reproducible on a press.
Yeah, the best thing you can do is have that universal color chart and then go,
Mhm.
this is the color I want, and then tell my software this is what I want, and then deal with what it looks like on your screen, knowing that it's going to look different. And then everybody's colorblind to some different degree, right? So it's going to look different to everybody anyway.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And that's pretty much how you get it taken care of.
So there's this gizmo where you can zap it. I'm pretty sure there's apps where you can zap stuff and get a pretty decent calibration to a Pantone color, right?
Yeah, there's apps you could actually, there was whole things and everything else and equipment that you could actually put it on your monitor and open up. I know it was with the Adobe products. You could put it on your monitor. You can actually calibrate your screen so that your equipment and everything else was as close
That's
as possible for color correction and for dealing with everything. This is the reason why for some of the designers you would see would work in a very dark room to try and prevent color issues coming from white light or fluorescent lights or something like that. Yeah, that was before I got into what I'm in now. That was my whole field for 20 years. Did that for a long time. I loved it. But I was print design, and print graphics.
When I first went to school, there were still there was computers and everything, and the computers were basically taken over. But when I went to, I don't know, I remember my first year in college, I went to some kind of a class where it was a mix between drafting and art, and it was basically drawing text on stuff before, because now computers just do this for you. You just resize it and do it. But back in the day, it was, are you going to do it with ink or are you going to do it with some kind of a cutout stencil type of thing? And either way, you're doing it by hand. So yeah, back in those days, it was neat to watch people that have been doing it forever. And teachers are probably people that have been doing it forever and then retired and then were teaching. So they could take, like a paintbrush or a thing or a piece of knife or something and like grab a little bit of white, a little bit of blue, a little bit of red, and now it's like yellow or something. It's like, they just could grab the right amount without measuring or nothing, and then knew the mixes or knew the ratios or whatever that's called. That kind of stuff is neat when people just know how their materials work and the balance.
I still have some of my Letraset transfers that were used for setting copy for newspapers and for magazines.
It was neat to see all that stuff. And I remember in high school, that's all there was because computers were still future. And then it took some time. And then by the time I went to college, like computers were around. So I just didn't have any interest in taking computer classes to learn the computer version. So there still technically was these equivalent of drawing blueprints, like the equivalent of finishing a blueprint for some drafts person is going to do the blueprint part, and then somebody else is going to make sure that it looks good for the presentation. This was that class, and it was still like at a drafting table with pens and what do they call that arm thing? That square, not the big arm that comes along and is your horizontal and your vertical line.
Yeah. Shit, I don't remember what that's called. I still have mine.
Same thing. off. It's
I
neat
gotta
to have.
bail.
I haven't used it in forever.
Before Baron takes off, you got any any parting words?
Can't think of any.
Well, thanks for being here.
I'm gonna go get some sleep.
All right.
Do so,
Thanks,
my man.
everyone.
Go easy.
Adios.
Have a good night.
Have a good night. No, I loved working in graphics, but I saw the writing on the wall that it was a field that was dying.
Yeah, for sure. Computers can wail on it, and they got their own problems and issues, but they're definitely took over from all the having to be good at something with your hands. Now it's just figuring it out on a computer and then hitting copy and paste.
Mm-hmm. When I started in the industry, computers ended up replacing for printing, because between graphic design and printing for like newspapers and such like that, it replaced 12 careers, 12 fields of work within it, because you had what's known as your the guys who would do all the press checks and everything else, and then you had the guys that were incredible. You were talking about with the color matching. You had with the teams that were known as the strippers, and these were the guys that pulled everything through with what's what I'm thinking of, with the negative films for registry, so that everything would print correctly. And these guys stared at a light box for hours on end, making sure that everything was just perfectly registered. And those guys, same thing. They knew when something was off.
And it wasn't like a film or something, like you could put a red filter or a blue filter and then like cross check or something, or is that what they were doing? Is
some of these
calibrate?
Some of them would use the filter. Some of these guys just were able to do it with their eyes.
Oh, I see what you're saying. They didn't really care how they got the job done, as long as they were getting a good result. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, they could literally put one, because you would get the negatives come through, and so it would be 4 negatives, CMYK, or some variant of those 4, and they would put them up, and they would be able to tell if the printing of the film at the registers were set up correctly for the photos and everything else that was in there for all the other graphics. And this is stuff that's in reverse, because it's the negative film. And
so why don't we take this into an after chat?
Sure.
Let me do a little more housekeeping here. I'll play a little bit of this one. RNL displays, that's all you get, Rob. If you want to see the rest of it, you have to be on the chat. But since G-Webs is here, he gets all of this one.
Right on. Thanks, man.
So barbecue, are you back from yelling at your dogs? We'll take that as a no. DJ, you have any parting words?
I do. I plug, actually, barbecue might make it back to the mic before the end of the program, but tomorrow, well, actually, for some of us, that's what, today now, because it is Revenge of the 5th. There's an Amphi tonight. Check your local listings for times. YouTube is the channel. Other than that, Foss, thank you very much for the invitation. I always have a good time, and the rabbit hole tonight was extra fun for me. So be safe, have fun, carry your guns, and rock, y'all.
Thanks for joining in. Sharon,
Yes.
have you gotten any stories from people yet?
From Baron, yes, thank you for him for that, but not from anyone else. So still, we'll see how it goes. And I think next week I will be on Walk the Talk America's podcast. And that's for just talking with how to deal with massive changes in life when life hands you lemons and everything else and dealing with changes. So they thought it might be.
For those who are not aware, Sharon is collecting self-defense stories where someone defended themselves using 10 rounds or more. She's collecting data. So if you know of any stories, you can send them to her at I'm putting the email here in the side chat. It's Yahoo.
Yes.
So sharon.hinchcliffe@yahoo.com. And I will put it in the description at the end of the chat.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
So if anybody's aware of any stories, email them to her at the sharon.hinchcliffe@yahoo.com. And G-Webs, anything you want to say before we take off here?
Thanks again for the link and for hosting. Cool to have a chat about some more nerd Star Wars stuff.
Yeah, I'm a big nerd at heart. Nerd. In school, I was always the big nerd that could kick your ass, but still a nerd. Barbecue. Going once? Going twice? All right. So appreciate everybody. Yeah. Hang on here. One thing I forgot. So chit chat here for just a second. I gotta go grab something.
One of the things I think Star Wars gets the leg up on Star Trek is there was no toys for Star Trek. So you could like Star Trek all you wanted, but all you were going to do is watch TV or watch the TV, and then eventually some movies. But Star Wars, we had all them toys. So, I mean, you were talking about being a nerd on the playground or whatever. Like, we never even got into fights ever. I don't remember any fights in school. I guess they might have happened, but very few and far between. Mostly it was just, depending on the time of year, you were playing Hoth, or you go to the sandbox and play some kind of, where's Luke Skywalker comes from, or go into a bush or something like that, and then you're playing some kind of forest planet. Or the best parts I can remember is when they would be digging up something to do something, and there'd be a giant hole in the ground. And back in the day, when they would dig a giant hole in the ground for construction or for something like that, they didn't care. They just left a big hole in the ground. So they would all leave, and then we'd jump in there and play Star Wars figures in these giant holes. And those were some of the, the movies were great and everything, and they gave us something to think about. But those toys and stuff, that was like a whole nother layer of Star Wars. I guess you had to be that old or something, but you could put Star Wars figures in your pocket and have them. And then wherever you were, somebody was like, you give them the nod and you'd be playing Star Wars. And then you'd find different people played Star Wars different, but that was a whole other layer.
And that's the reason why it became so popular, is because of the toys. And you just didn't have that at the time when Star Trek came out.
With any other toy. He-Man and all them ripped it off.
Yes, they did.
Star Wars was the one that was like, oh no, let's figure out how to make something super awesome. Look at what our grandparents had. Here's a piece of wood with like a beak on it. Like what? And then our parents had metal things and maybe some plastic junk, and then immediately had to start listening to radio records or something. Like they didn't even have toys that were worth nothing. They were all stuffed animals. So we had like the best toys ever. And then they started giving us little rockets and cars and stuff to put them in. Yeah, we had the best toys ever for being nerds. I mean,
yeah.
There was also erector sets and science kits and stuff that we didn't get because they didn't give us the small parts anymore, and they would give us the cool chemicals. So there was other aspects of toys. I'm not saying it was like the only toy, but for being a toy that was I mean, every kid had them too. Rich kids, poor kids, everybody had some Star Wars figures. Maybe the rich kids had the Millennium Falcon and AT-ATs and stuff, but that gave something for everybody to bring to the table, and then everybody could have Star Wars figures. They were like, I don't know what they cost, but they couldn't have cost that much. Everybody had them.
DJ, can you give the rundown on the Tara Smith PayPal thing?
I can offer a partial rundown on that. Barbecue has propped and has given directions on previous ANFIs for a fundraiser for Tara Smith. She was the unfortunate recipient of a tree to her motorcycle and is in recovery now. She's doing well, but being I know from things that she has said that her time off of work because of her injury, and she has driven for a living for quite some time. Dollars are needed. Barbecue is hosting a giveaway sort of thing. Contributions can be made. I'm sorry to have to do this to y'all, unless, boss, you got a backup on me. I don't know the address for that. If Tara's still in the chat.
I put the PayPal in the side chat.
Bing. And so Barbecue has paired that. So many dollars equals entries. I'm not sure the dollar amounts. And then there's some raffle prizes to win in order to assist Tara. So think of contributing, please.
Is there something that has all of those details with it, like say a website or something? The reason being I'm asking for this is I will get it blasted out onto some of the other social media some of the other social media programs that I have on that.
If we cannot wake Barbecue,
yeah,
I think I can get
Barbecue keeps trying to talk, but everybody just keeps talking.
Whoa.
Sorry, what was that? I can't hear you. You're muted. Go ahead.
When Barbecue.
Go ahead. Can you explain it?
Yeah. So DJ covered the gist of it. $10 will get you 1 entry. $20 gets you 3 entries. Prizes the prize is of your choice, but you got 4 things to choose from. So first prize to choose from would be an R&L display stand, one of the pistol display stands that they offer. Option 2 is a $50 voucher from me to gearwebsites.com. Option 3 is a $50 voucher to owlandanchor.com. And option 4 is Guns and BBQ t-shirt and trucker cap from blackswantactical.com.
Okay. Is there something that says like what her story is and everything, so that that we can get? The reason why I'm asking is a great way of, so that I have something to reference. So when I push this out through Telegram or through Twitter or through Instagram on something like that, is there something that says what this is for? Because it is to help her for recovering and things like that, to help her with getting her so that she has the means to get her life back together. Is there something that has that? Because if there's a site that shows that or something like that, that's a huge thing, and allows me to be able to say like, okay, here's quickly what's going on with what's going on. She was in the accident, she's recovering, but we want to be able to help her stay independent and everything, and we're doing this fundraiser for her. Is there something like that that's been written up or anything like that at all?
To my knowledge, no.
All right.
Yeah, so I'm going to be hopefully dropping a video tomorrow announcing the thing officially to like my entire channel. I think she's talked about it on her channel before, just like, hey, I had this accident, blah, blah, blah. But literally threw the whole fundraiser idea together yesterday, and it's just going to run until May 17th. So.
All right. Can you, since you've got my email address, when you get that done, can you send me the link to that? Because
Absolutely.
I will broadcast that out to everything on that. And just as a way to help, because this is where, for a fundraiser for her, to help her is everybody who's able to pass this on to 2 people. This is very similar to the old Willa Blossom commercial. Everybody tells 2 people. 2 people tell 2 more. And that's how you build the message and getting it out. And hopefully we can see if a couple others other bigger names with real larger what's the word I'm thinking of reaches pick this up and spread it out. And that would be because that way, if you've got 1,000 people who donate $5, that's $5,000.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Then look at it where if you educate 1,000 people as to that power and that ability, then you've given them strength and awareness.
Exactly.
And then I'll just also throw out there, because that also creates a situation where abusers and exploiters are going to come around and take advantage. So also grow calluses quickly and be willing to say no.
Yep.
So you have anything else, barbecue?
Well, there's that. My bullet puller arrived today, so gonna pull some 10mm bullets tomorrow, and probably try and redo that test that I did for the MMP 2.0s, but do that with some primed cases, and then just the typical shows and all that good stuff. Appreciate the invite. This is a great time.
Well, no problem. There's a link to Guns Barbecue and a link to gun websites. And DJ doesn't really do anything yet, so I don't have a link for him.
I made him like 12 channel logos with different ideas that he's had. He still doesn't take the bait.
He did. He has. He probably will again.
I don't know. I think you should. You should put content out there, gun related, music related. There's people out there that like both.
All right, fellas. All right. I appreciate the encouragement, both of you. Thank you very much.
So I appreciate everybody that's on the panel. If nobody has anything else, I appreciate everybody out there that watched live and those that watch replay. If you made it this far, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. And other than that, I hope everybody has a good night.